Well, let me say this before I get started. The media's job is not to inform you. The media's job is to control you. So many of you all think that you are informed. You are not informed, you are controlled. The media never gives you the full story, because if they did, you would be able to come up with your own opinion. So instead, they give you a piece of the story and then build a narrative around that piece. So in the end, what you thought was information was simply just a contrived narrative. And that narrative is used to control the masses. So the popular opinion is the opinion that the media puts out. This is why people that go against the popular opinion, which is going against the media, aren't given a platform. This whole Black Lives Matter, protesting against police brutality, is all a part of a system of control. It's all controlled. And you know why it's controlled? Because the media is picking and choosing which people they want us to focus on. They pick the videos that they believe will provoke the most emotional outrage. Think about it. Why doesn't the media show you videos of people shooting the police? Why doesn't the media show you videos of white police officers shooting white people? You must ask yourself these questions. Now, many of you all are going to get upset about what I'm going to say, because you have been conditioned to believe that if I hold black people accountable, then I'm somehow supporting a racist agenda. The media actually wants you to believe that our biggest problem is police brutality, because the media does not want you to focus on the major issues that affect black people in America. I always talk about racism being an economic issue. And since racism is an economic issue, then that would mean that our biggest threat, or the biggest threat to our existence, is something that deals with economics. The problem is, what we are doing is attacking symptoms of a larger problem. But they don't want you to focus on the larger problem, because the larger problem affects the entire country. We keep going back to economics. The issue is economic exclusion. So the problems that we face as a people are rooted in economic exclusion. Now, I put some of these statistics up to focus on my point. And based on the numbers, black people are more of a threat to black people than the police. I'll say this again. According to the numbers, black people are more of a threat to black people than the police. And that is a hard narrative for us to swallow, because the people controlling the narrative have a bigger plan for us that we cannot see. These same statistics you see are the same statistics they are going to use to justify socialism and communism in our communities. Black life can't matter if it's a conditional statement, meaning we can't put all the emphasis on Black lives mattering only when it's a white police officer killing someone black.
Plus, we do a lot of cutting and shooting of each other, though we profess to be nonviolent.
Black lives have to matter to black people first, and period. I have a question, and it's going to be a tough question. Are all of the police shootings or killings of black people racially motivated? I ask again. Are all the shootings and killings of black people by white police officers racially motivated? Is it always a racially motivated reason? And when I ask this question, I'm asking, has a black person ever done anything that warranted them to get shot by the police? These are the types of questions the media doesn't want you to ask. And the media doesn't want to ask these questions because the media has another agenda. They don't want us focusing on the real issue. And the root of the problem is an economic one, because fixing the economic situation in this country, mainly with us, is going to disrupt the entire system. As I've said before, nobody is for us being empowered. Nobody. So when people talk about wealth redistribution, when people talk about land redistribution, when people talk about equity, everybody hears a disruption of the system. because the system is functioning because we are on the bottom. And that's what you all don't realize. They want us at the bottom. So all these narratives on TV spewed out by the media are done to ensure that we stay on the bottom. So what they do is they put all of our problems and lump them into white police officers killing black people. And let me specify that, killing unarmed black people. Now they will tell you, because I'm talking like this, that I'm a sellout, that I'm a coon, that I'm all these things deplorable. But the funny thing is, I'm the one that actually cares about my people. I literally am the one that actually cares about my people so much that I reject all of these narratives. LeBron got on TV and said black people are scared. Black people aren't scared. What are black people afraid of? Think about it. What are black people afraid of? Are black people afraid of each other? What are black people afraid of? I grew up around black people my entire life, and the majority of black folks are not afraid of the police. The majority of black folks aren't even afraid of each other. The majority of black folks aren't afraid of white people. The majority of black people are afraid of change. That's what black people are afraid of. Black people are afraid to leave this system. Black people are afraid to boycott this system. Black people are not afraid of the police. But the media is trying to put a spirit of fear in black people, a spirit of fear that we don't have. All these narratives are created so that we don't see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is black life has to matter to us first, and black life has to matter, period. Black Lives Matter can be a conditional statement, but we also must focus on the real problem. And racism is an economic issue, so treating the symptoms will never work. So they get us blinded and sidetracked by all of this stuff like police brutality, and we never get to focus on the issues that affect the majority of us. Because the majority of us will not get killed by the police. The majority of us will not get arrested. The majority of us will not be on probation. The majority of us will not be on parole. The majority of us will not go to jail. The majority of us will not go to prison. The majority of us will not be involved in anything criminal. So how can a black person being killed by the police spark any kind of change? Black people getting killed by the police can't be the foundation for why we want to rise up against this system, because it's not the major issue. I know you all don't want to hear it, but it's not the major issue. The major issue is an economic one, because police brutality is a symptom of where we are. We don't have an economic base. We don't control the means of production to anything. We don't own any land. We don't have any economic value as a people besides us being a consumer group. Now, we spend money. They make money off of us. But as far as us being empowered, we'd have to make money for ourselves. There are two things that we do the same. We vote the same and we spend the same. That lets me know that our leverage rests in those two things, because those are two things that we do collectively.
If you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro.